What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about Highguard. So this game finally released a couple days ago. I've only played one game since then, but I've got some thoughts. Now before I even continue, I just want to say the lack of hype, marketing, anything leading up to the release of this game was very interesting. I guess they decided that, because people had almost already made up their minds before the game had even come out that they wouldn't even try to show gameplay and talk about it. I don't blame them, but it was still kind of a bizarre move. Apparently though, they did want to shadow drop the game initially, but then Jeff Keighley came and asked them if they wanted to take out the last spot at the Game Awards, so they took it. Not gonna lie, it probably would have been in their best interest to decline that offer and just shadow drop the game, because people wouldn't have hated on the game. It would have just been a game that dropped. Either people liked it, didn't like it, and moved on with their lives, or that's about it really. Actually, there is no or. But because you kind of put this game on a pedestal, you left it for the last game in the Game Awards. People were expecting something more, something a lot, I don't want to say better because that sounds pretty rude, but I mean, I guess something just a lot more interesting. But look, day one, this game had almost 100,000 players, but that dropped significantly to about 18 or 19,000 people. The reviews, I think on like Steam, they're all mostly negative. I would say there are mixed reviews on this game, but I don't know, it seems the reviews are more so negative than anything. I've definitely seen people say, yeah, the game is pretty fun, it's not as bad as people say, and to be honest, I agree with that for the most part. I don't think it's as bad as the internet as a whole may make it seem. I think the overall issue with the game is that it just doesn't do much different compared to other games in this genre, and I was always saying this is the biggest obstacle this game would have to overcome. Not only this game, but any other game in this genre that tries to compete with some of the juggernauts like, I don't know, Fortnite, Apex Legends, Warzone, Helldivers, really any of these big games, these really big live service games. Arc Raiders is another example, right? One that came out recently, did a good job, that game succeeded. Still going really strong even after the initial launch and I guess honeymoon phase. I think that game, people were comparing it to Battlefield 6, where Battlefield 6 dropped a lot of their player base. I don't know if it was 90%. I'm gonna go with like 70% to be safe. And then Arc Raiders remained pretty much all of their player base since launch. So that just goes to show you they did a really good job with it. Back to what I was saying before, Highguard's biggest obstacle would have always been, could it be different than all these other games similar to it in this genre, in this still overly crowded genre, I think. And to be honest, I think that's where it kind of failed, right? That's why people aren't just resonating with it. They're not really having that much fun, just because they probably feel like they've played this game already a million times. The concept of it is pretty cool. Right now, it seems there's only one game mode, I believe. First of all, it's a 3v3 thing. I thought it'd be at least a 5v5, really a 6v6. All the maps, they're huge. To be 3v3 is ridiculous in my opinion. It would have been a lot more fun actually if it was 5v5 or 6v6. I found myself having fun in the kind of like the more tight-knit areas, kind of getting toward the end game where, you get to the enemy's base and you kind of got to plant that bomb and you got to defend the bomb or else they'll defuse it. Those areas were cool. They were very action-packed, just because everybody would be in that one area trying to defend the bomb or defuse the bomb. But what about the rest of the map? You have such a big map. You have those the horse traversal, which you can go really fast across the map and you can get away from enemies pretty quickly. That aspect, like the horse aspect, is cool, but the fact that the map is really big, there's only 3 people on each team, I feel like that kind of messes with the balance, the tempo of the game. Like if you're fighting an enemy who's on the ground and you just hop on your horse, you can just run away from them at any given moment, and it's a 3v3 thing. Again, the chances of you coming across another enemy are pretty slim just because the enemy was probably near their teammate right there, which you just left behind. So adding 2 or 3 more people could easily fix that, I would say. 6v6, that could easily fix that. They could have done with a smaller map, to be honest, or smaller maps, to be honest, because again, like the whole objective of the game is you got to try to destroy each other's bases. Each team spawns with a base. You can fortify it at the beginning of each round, then you go out, get some resources, kit up, get weapons, armor, all that, and then you have to go pick up the one weapon that's used to penetrate the enemy's base, break their shield, and then you can head in there, plant a bomb, destroy the base, and that's how you win the game. Saying it out loud and even on paper probably sounds like it would be pretty fast paced, but that's only the case, at least in my experience, that's only the case toward the end when you're actually in the base trying to plant the bomb, trying to destroy their base. There were times where I came across enemies multiple times in a specific area. Those times were fun. It was action packed, but again, for the most part, it was just toward the end of the game. Again, that's just me. I played one game, but I had a really good game, to be honest. I went like 17 or 18 and 3, only died like 3 times. Who knows, maybe I shouldn't even be speaking on my experiences because I played one game, but I feel like as soon as I started the game, when I saw it was only 3v3 and I hopped in, I was like, wait a second, bro, there's no way this is enough people for one game. So hopefully later on they hear this advice, because I've seen a lot of people also talking about it. They hear this, take the feedback, and drop like a 6v6 mode. That would help a lot. Honestly, the map is so big, you could have 8v8, 10v10. It would probably be a better time, a lot more fun. But yeah, the overall premise of the game, like the idea of it is cool. I don't think it's anything like new and groundbreaking, but it is cool. The layout of it all, I guess you could say. It's almost like a battle royale mixed with demolition, specifically from Call of Duty. Truthfully, I do think if they took some feedback, like for example, make a smaller map, make it like a 5v5 or 6v6, those two things would solve a lot of issues in this game, I believe. The gunplay and everything, the traversal, all of it felt really good and really smooth. I didn't really see anybody complain about that. Really just that the game kind of felt samey compared to a lot of other games, and the fact that it's a 3v3, the game moves pretty slow for the most part up until like the very end. Honestly, fix those and I think you have a way better game than you have right now, and a lot more people might actually give it a chance and play it. This might seem like the main sentiment across the internet and the gaming community right now, that the game is just a bad game, but I don't think, truthfully, I don't think the game is a bad game. I think it's just a game, and that's the problem. I've always said that's the game's biggest problem. It cannot just be another game in this genre trying to compete with the titans, the juggernauts that are already occupying this genre. But yeah, that's just me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you tried the game out, if you watched somebody play it, what are your thoughts on it? And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, like it up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.